Right. Yeah. Record.
Yeah, it's from Rabbi Parsha.
Okay. Now you are. You're on. You're on. You're on, Rabbi.
Okay.
I'm well.
Very good. Yisur Chag, Erev Shabbos, everybody. I hope you all had a wonderful Yom Tov. The first word of the Torah, Bereshit, it invokes many difficulties. What does it mean, Bereshit? So we Jews in the Western world are influenced greatly by the King James Version, the translation of the Bible. And the scholars at Oxford that then translated the Bible from Hebrew into English, translated Bereshit as in the beginning. That's a difficult translation. Because in the beginning of what? The Torah doesn't tell us. And if you say in the beginning, you are automatically saying that time is an absolute, and therefore at the beginning of how we deal with time, the Lord created heaven and earth. Now, this is a discussion that's been for thousands of years. The Greek philosophers, almost to a man, held that time was an absolute, that time pre-existed creation. Creation is within the boundaries of time. And therefore, it makes sense that you would translate it in the beginning. In the beginning, within the boundaries of time, the Lord created the heaven and the earth. However, most of the Meforshim, the Jewish scholars, there are many scholars, Benu Sadja and others, that followed the Greek idea. Rashi here says, Rashi will say later, I'm trying to tell you the simple explanation of what the Pasuk imparts to us. So Rashi says Bereshit doesn't mean in the beginning. It means Bishvil Reshis. Bereshit, because of the concept of Reshis, the Lord created heaven and earth. And it has nothing to do with our idea of time. It rather has to do with purpose. Why did he make heaven and earth? For it says, so good, leave it like that. It's empty and void. And why do we need such a now we're beginning to realize how large and magnificent it is. What's the purpose of all of this? And that's a question that Chazal always ask. When you look at events, you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of this? Because of the fact that when it says that the Ribono Shel Olam created, so it means that things are not at random. Things are a product of creativity. It didn't just happen. So why did it happen? Why Bora Elokim es hashamayim v'zoretz? So Rashi says that that's what the word Bereshit means. Bishvil Reshis. Because of the items that the Torah will later describe as being Reshis. Foremost among them is the Torah. Torah is called Reshis. Also, the Jewish people are called Reshis. Wisdom is called Reshis. Reshis Chochmah, Yiras Hashem. Meaning there's a purpose to all of this. The purpose will play itself out. And Rashi follows this through in his further commentary on this opening parsha. It says, Behi Borom. This is told us, Shamayim Boretz Behi Borom. This is the generations of the heaven and earth, Behi Borom, when they were created. So the Gemara says, Al Tikra Behi Borom Elo Be'Avrom. What does the Gemara mean by that? It's not just a play on words. The answer is that the Chazal are telling us the purpose. The purpose of Shamayim V'Horetz is that a human being, Avram Avinu, can come into the world and inject it with holiness and godliness and purpose. So when it says V'Horetz Oiso Vo V'Choshech Al Pnei Sahom, it's not a physical description. It's a description of how the world is. It's an empty world, a world of vanity, a world of violence, empty of all content. Who needs it? And it's a dark world. It's a dark world. But then the Novi says, Mi Heir Mimizrach, who lit the light from the east. Avram Avinu. So in the midst of this world, which is devoid of any purpose or holiness, the Gemara says, the Mishnah, Asor Doros Me'odom Ad Noach, these 10 generations and not lived hundreds of years, whatever they did, but it was purposeless. Shlomo HaMelech, we read it in Koheles, Ma'yison L'Odom, what advantage is it to live 1,000 years and still nothing? It's all nonsense. So the only seemingly rational explanation is somehow there's a purpose. There's a goal here. Now, why the Ribono Shalom did it this way, that's on his story, Lashem Elokeinu. That's hidden from us. But the purpose is clear. The purpose is the improvement of humankind, the improvement of the universe, to make it a better place to live in. So, therefore, we have to know what the purpose is. We find that in when the rabbis discussed human beings, they find that, for instance, in the beginning of the Mesilat Yesharim of Moshe Chaim Luzzatto. So his opening sentence is, Ma chovas ha'olam ba'olomo. What is our obligation here in this world? Why are we here? And Shlomo HaMelech showed us in Koheles that whatever reason we give for being here, we come up short. If we're here to have simcha, simcha mazu osa. You do not have a permanent feeling of simcha. And osher, wealth, he said, osher shomu ro labalav. Wealth can be destructive, and wealth is temporary. It does not survive he who acquired it. Shlomo says sarcastically, in fact, we could say that the Gehenna, the hell of a very wealthy person who in his lifetime didn't spend much money because he wanted to accumulate more. So his hell is to see what his relatives do with his money after he's gone. I remember I had a family I knew in Miami Beach, very fine people. Now the father accumulated a great deal of wealth, but he never took a vacation. He lives in a very nice home, but it wouldn't pass muster in the 5 towns today. And he was a charitable person, but not publicly so. And he was always accumulating more. To his last day, he was looking for a better investment, a higher rate of interest, greater potential for growth. And he had one son. And when the father died, after the Shiva, the son got up and he took a trip around the world for a year. And I thought to myself, if they're showing that to the Father in heaven, he's in hell. But that's what Shlomo HaMelech said. Whatever you have, you leave to others. I remember a few years ago, a number of my grandchildren came to visit me from different children, Baruch Hashem. And they were looking at some of the artistic artifacts that my wife had purchased over the years of our marriage. And they started to argue over who was going to get what. So I said, that's in your lifetime you see it. They're taking it for themselves already. So is that the purpose? If someone else says that can't be the purpose. And he says power isn't the purpose because we see that power is temporary and fleeting. Just ask Nasrallah. So what's the purpose? What is the purpose here? So Shlomo says at the end, Sov Davar Hakol Yishma. Let's make a summation of the whole 12 chapters in Koheles. Koheles is a Megillah that doesn't need my approbation, but that's well worth studying in depth, because there you see the greatness and wisdom of Shlomo HaMelech. So what's the purpose? So Dover Hakol Nishma. We took everything into account, he said. So Elokim Yerov es mitzvos shmor. To be a God-fearing person, which includes humility, charity, patience, faith. All of that is included in Yireh Shamayim. Kizeh kol adam. That's the whole package. That's what we can do. The Rebbeinu Shalom put us in this world to serve him. That's our purpose. In order to do that, there's the Jewish people. And then within the Jewish people, there's Torah. And all of that put together comes to serve the Rebbeinu Shalom. So Behi Barom, when he created the world, it was with Avraham in mind. That's what Chazal mean. That there would come a person that would get it. That would be able to answer, why am I here? What's my purpose? What does life demand of me? And because life is so painful and contains so many bitter moments, so that is what we inherited from Adam Arishon and Chava and Gan Eden. That's what was meant that they were expelled from Gan Eden. Because in Gan Eden, everything is good. So the pshat, everything is good, is even what was not good, quote unquote, in third terms, they thought was good. Because in Gan Eden, everything is good. It's only when we're expelled from Gan Eden, when we're in this world, that we somehow categorize things as being good and bad. And therefore, we're often surprised because things that we think are bad turn out to be good, and things that we thought were good turn out to be injurious to us. My daughter read to me an article about the junior senator from Pennsylvania, John Fetterman. So he's a strange creature. He's 6'8". He suffered a stroke, so he is physically handicapped to a certain degree. So he cannot button his shirt. So he comes to the Senate in a sweatshirt and a hoodie. And he wears shorts, cargo pants. The Senate passed an amendment to its dress code to accommodate him. And he ran for the Senate as a progressive. And he won the election in spite of his infirmities. Fetterman has turned out to be the greatest defender of the state of Israel in the United States Congress. In his office, he has the pictures of the hostages. He speaks openly about the justification of the destruction of Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran. The Jews in the United States Senate don't speak that way. They don't say a word. But Fetterman does. So I remember that when Fetterman was elected, so they interviewed some Jewish activist, and he said, what a disaster for the Jewish people. Another progressive, another one that will stand against Israel. And it turned out to be completely the opposite. If the conservative would have won, and he would never have spoken the way Fetterman speaks. So in this world, good and bad are, so to speak, subjective judgments. Not only that, one man's good is someone else's bad. If you bought the apple at 100, somebody had to sell it to you at 100. So the guy that sold it 100 was an idiot, and you're a genius. But it's good and bad together, always. So in such a world, there has to be a moral compass. There has to be a clarity between good and bad, between right and wrong. And Avraham Avinu provided that. We'll talk more about Avraham Avinu in the next few weeks, God willing. But that's his great contribution to humanity, that he provided the moral compass. What's right and what's wrong. What has to be done and what should not be done. So therefore, Bereshit, when the Ribono Shel Olam created the world, it was with a purpose. The purpose was to have this moral compass. That human beings should be, so to speak, partners with heaven in the creation of a better society. Now, all of us know that partnerships are difficult. A great deal of Choshe Mishpat, the laws of money in Shulchan Aruch, is devoted to the laws of partnership. And the old bad joke is that someone gave one of the partners the payment in cash. And then the partner was faced with the moral dilemma of whether he should tell the partner that he got paid in cash. Because partnerships have within themselves a resentment for the other partner. I've seen it in my life many times. The other partner is not carrying his weight. The other partner makes mistakes. The other partner does not share my vision. So partnerships are very difficult. And yet the Ribono Shel Olam wants us to be his partner. Now we can imagine how disappointed he must be, so to speak, with the partner. The partner is lazy. Partner is corrupt. The partner ignores the other partner. So that's what the Navi said about Avraham Avinu. That was the problem with Adam Arishon. Adam Arishon didn't see himself anymore as being a partner. He was expelled from Gan Eden, and that's it. He's out. He's out of the business. But Avraham Avinu, ki echad krosim. Oh, he was the one and only. He's willing to continue the partnership. And a partner has a right to say things. So Avraham Avinu says, "Hashofet kol haaretz lo yaseh mishpat." Is that just what you're doing? Destroying all of Sodom and Amorah and the Admah Tzvoyim? Maybe there are righteous people there. Because he's a partner. He's involved. And that's the whole story of the Akedah. Because a partner has a right to demand that the other partner share his load, even to the extent of life-endangering situations. I knew in Miami Beach a wealthy Jew. He was a survivor of the Shoah. He never spoke about his past or anything, except on Purim he would come and he would bring Mishloach Monos, and then he would unburden himself. So one thing that he told me was remarkable. He said he had a partner in Hungary. They had a very large business, and they had money put away in a Swiss account. And the money was on the name of the partner. And he said after the war, when he survived, the partner came and gave him his half of the money. So when he told me that, that's the right thing to do, right? And then I realized how unusual that was. That's not the nature of people. The nature of people is that the partner is not entitled. The partner is taking advantage of me. And therefore, I'm entitled to more than what we agreed upon. And the Ribono Shel Olam Kaviyachol is looking for a partner. That's what Bereshit is. Bishvil Bereshit. Where's my partner? Who wants to work with me? Who wants to join in the effort? So that's what Shlomo said. That's Elokim Yirah, Bes Mitzvos of Shmor. That's the partnership. That's your part of the problem. Yizeh Kol Adam. The human being's highest achievement is they're in a partnership with the Rabbanu Shalom. And that's what Bereshit means. It's not in the beginning of time. It's the purpose of creation. And if we have that in mind, then there are really no small things in life. Everything that we do is in furtherance of the partnership, in fulfillment of our part of the bargain. Therefore, the highest compliment that was given to Moshe Rabbeinu is Ki Even Nemon Karas Olo. A good servant is a good partner. He anticipates the needs of the other, more than happy to fulfill them. So when we begin our study of Chumash for this year, God willing, it should be in that spirit that the Chumash is teaching us how to be a good partner, what our purpose in life is, what the purpose of creation is. It's not at random, and that we should not be quick in judging good and bad, positive and negative, because we're not aware of how things really turn out. And that's the idea of modesty, of anova. An honor of a modest person, a humble person, never is judgmental. That's why Abraham Avinu had an open tent. The whole world was his partner, so to speak, in creating a better society. So we should all have a good winter, healthy, and hear good news. And that the Ribono Shel Olam will show us yet greater nisim v'niflos. Amen.
He started for